Well, hello, my friend. Let me ask you a quick question. Have you ever been in an automobile accident? Well, stay tuned because you're about to learn the do's and the don'ts for protecting yourself and your family when it comes to car accidents. And you're going to hear this from a very well respected personal injury attorney in our area. Well, hello, my friend. My name is Terry Petrovick. I'm the president of Team Wow Media and the creator of Wilco Pages. If you're not familiar with Wilco Pages, it's a Facebook community with over 1,100 small business owners, entrepreneurs, and sales reps involved with it. The purpose of it is to kind of network and connect and help each other grow our businesses. You'll see a couple of links on this video. If you're not part of the community, join the conversation. I'm also the host of Small Business Weekly. Here I reach out to well-known leaders in our area so that they can share their tips, strategies, and insights to help you grow personally and professionally. Now, the topic of today's conversation is how to protect yourself and your family when it comes to an automobile accident. And I have a very special guy here. He's the founder and lead attorney for Fox Law. His focus is personal injury. His name is Dustin Fox. Dustin, welcome to Small Business Weekly. Ideas worth sharing, my friend.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me, Terry. Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, we're so glad to hear. Before we jumped into the do's and the don'ts, and I know you got some amazing information to share with our viewers here today. Kind of take folks behind the curtain, if you would, and share how you got to where you are. What was your driving force, and why you're so passionate about doing what you do today?
Yeah. There are several reasons why I got involved in the personal injury world, and most of it involves personal injury experience. So I had been in 3 motorcycle accidents prior to graduating law school. I had settled those cases myself, and I realized just how difficult it is to navigate a judicial system that it's really difficult if you're unfamiliar with it, right? And so I know that I can add a lot of value to folks who have never experienced it. They're lost. And, naturally, I just kind of fell into this. And, my wife had been into a motor vehicle accident that ended up requiring surgery and a lawsuit. So, just being surrounded by me, maybe it's bad omen, but I have a lot of experience with it, both personally and just in my life. And yeah, I just rolled it right into what I like to do as far as the practice of law.
Well, I as a business owner for 29 years, I've had lots of coaches and I've had lots of mentors. And I always love when somebody is leading me or helping me or supporting me has been in the trenches and has personally experienced what I'm going through in my business, or in this case, an automobile accident. I have been in an automobile accident as well. And I think odds are that most of our viewers have. Maybe some of their children have. And if they haven't, hopefully they won't, but they might. Odds are probably that they will. Share, if you will, maybe if you can think of the 3 top things that a person needs to do and why when they're in an automobile accident, if you don't mind.
Yeah. That's one of the unique things I think I bring to the table is, I never pretend to be in someone else's shoes. That, like Terry, you said, I can't pretend to know what it was like for you specifically, but I do know what it was for me because I've been in those situations. And so one of the things I wish I would have known that really contributes to a lot of problems that I see today is folks don't call the police or they don't allow the police to come out there and file a police report. This helps establish liability, right? There's going to be 2 parts to a personal injury claim. You're going to have liability and then you're going to have damages or, injuries. So with those 2 components, having the police come out to the accident scene and give a citation, that usually helps establish liability, who's at fault. That would be point number 1 of a really good do. The second is to document the crash scene, any injuries that may have occurred. And what I mean by this is a common occurrence of a mistake I see is after an accident, you may receive some sort of a lap belt or a seat belt bruising. And folks don't think about documenting this. And this is going to be really important for myself or another personal injury attorney, or even if you decided to handle your claim on your own, to give to the adjuster as far as, all right, these were my injuries. This is how long it took to progress. And ultimately, that's what you would end up submitting with the demand letter. Those are a couple of do's. Didn't that make sense to you, Terry?
Yeah, yeah. I think those are very, very important. Now, documentation should, I mean, most people have cell phones, so they should be taking photos, pictures. Should we talk to the other person who hit us in this case? Should we try to get that on video or just focus on the accident itself?
Yeah, I've had it both ways. In fact, I would say about 6 weeks ago, we signed up a client who had video documentation of them saying, "Hey, did you just hit me?" And they actually had it on camera. Now, I don't know if I would recommend that. Today's world, people are nuts, and you never know what happens here in Texas. A lot of people carry guns, and it just creates a hostile environment. And ultimately, if you can exchange information and get a police report that establishes liability, I think that's going to be your best route. But yes, speaking to the other person, that's not necessarily bad. You're going to have to, right? You're going to have to exchange information, have them wait for the police to come. But regarding communications, I think it's important to not speak with the insurance regarding your personal injury claim, because you're going to have a bodily injury claim and then you're going to have property damage, right? Because you're going to have your motor vehicle that you're going to have to get repaired. That is ultimately just fine. But right after a car accident, you don't necessarily know exactly how hurt you are. Um, your adrenaline's going, you're going to have probably soreness that begins right away. And I've used this example before. My wife was injured in a car accident. She is that initial adrenaline allowed her to go get an x-ray done, visit the ER, and appeared everything was fine, but that soreness didn't go away. And luckily she knew me, and I said, you really don't know what your injuries are yet. Don't make a statement. And 3 weeks later, she ended up having 4 herniated discs. One of
Wow.
them ended up collapsing, and she had to have back surgery. But had she made a statement to the insurance company right after the accident saying, "Oh, I'm really sore. I wasn't that injured," well, that would have been later used against her, maybe in a deposition. And
Yeah.
you're familiar with this. I'm sure anyone watching this is anything you can or anything you say can and will be used against you. That's absolutely the case here in personal injury as well.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, when there's an accident like that, you know, they know that whoever hit them made the mistake. They're in fault. They might have admitted it, and they don't want to be mean or anything like that. But I think it's important that you do call the police. You do have that track record and that documentation in place, because just like you said, I mean, I've fallen off of a horse riding a horse before, and you don't know in the moment because that adrenaline is kicking in that you
Yep.
have an ache or a pain, but it can show up, days, weeks, or even months later. So I think that's incredible advice. Let me ask this. Let's talk about some of the don'ts or some of the biggest mistakes that you've seen in your career people make when they're in an automobile accident.
So, other than the making the recorded statement that will ultimately end up coming back to hurt them, I've seen this multiple times over the last 12 months where folks will come to me and ask if I can assist with their personal injury claim. And there's some red flags immediately when they come to me. They say, I didn't get quite enough money. Well, they've already settled their case. In some instances, they don't even know that. And so I would highly, highly recommend never signing anything from the insurance company without having it reviewed by a personal injury attorney. And that can include property damage, that include your personal injury claim. In fact, I just recently saw another person who came to me, luckily, for the property damage. They were trying to settle their property damage for their vehicle, but it was a brand new vehicle, less than 12 months old, and just got into that car accident that wasn't their fault. And what happens after you get into an accident with a brand new car? Well, that goes on a crash report. So you have diminished value based upon if you were to go and try to resell this vehicle later down the road. So those two are probably the biggest mistakes, if you also include the not documenting your injuries. So don't talk to the insurance about your injuries. Do talk or do document the injuries. And please don't sign anything from the insurance company as far as offers or acceptance of money without talking to an attorney.
So, in the event that something like this does happen to somebody, I think one of the first things that pops into the mind, especially when we're, no offense, we talk about attorneys and personal injury
Oh, we're
attorneys.
terrible. Yeah.
The thing that goes through my mind, when it comes to attorneys, is like, okay, this is going to cost me a lot of money. Let me just, I don't want to say ignore it, but discount it. Is that the case?
No, not at all, especially with myself. We offer free consultations, and I really don't think you could put a price on peace of mind. If you're ever just curious about, well, is this the right thing to do? Should I hire an attorney? We offer free consultations. We will evaluate your claim, do the investigation, and if we can help you, and it seems like it will actually add value to your claim, then we can move forward if you feel comfortable. But no, you're right. There's a bad reputation amongst my profession, and I like to joke around that attorneys are terrible people, but I like to think that I'm friendly enough, I'm personable. You can come talk to me. I'll shoot you straight and say, okay, it's actually not in your best interest to hire an attorney, and we can move on from there. But again, we work on a contingency fee. So the only time that anyone would
What
owe
does
us
that
money,
mean? Explain that to me, if you would.
yeah, yeah, a contingency fee. So we only recover and get paid if we recover and get paid on behalf of our clients, and that would come from an insurance policy. And that's an interesting note, a little fun tidbit that a lot of people don't sue folks or get involved in the personal injury world because they think that we're going to take someone's house or we're going to take their bank account or their car. And really, what we end up doing is going after the insurance policy that's in place. That's plain and simple. And yeah, so you basically, as a contingency fee, you never have to pay anything out of pocket. Anything we recover is from the insurance policy.
So let's talk a little bit more about how do we protect ourselves with insurance. Can't really, control if somebody's going to hit us or not. But if that event does take place, what kind of coverages, Dustin, should people have in place to make sure that they're adequately covered?
Yep. And so I want to make sure I am not an insurance agent. I just deal with a lot of insurance policies. And I've seen firsthand what ends up happening if the right auto insurance policy is not in place. And so if you were to look up on the Texas Department of Transportation, about 25 to 30% of Texas drivers are driving right now without auto insurance. So there's a 1 in 3-ish chance that you can get hit right now. And unless you have the right auto policy, you would be really hurt in many different ways. And those two policies specifically is uninsured or underinsured coverage. So if you have an auto insurance agent right now that you enjoy talking to or that you have a relationship with, I'd highly recommend, not necessarily as an attorney, but just as a human being, that you go out and get this auto coverage. Because that's the only way that I can help a client if they get hit by one of these people who are driving around irresponsibly. That insurance policy will take the place of the person that hit you. It seems odd, but you're filing a claim under your own auto policy. But it's one of those just in case, right? That's what auto insurance is all about, is just in case something happens. And that's one of those cases. So again, that's uninsured, underinsured motor vehicle coverage. But with that, there you can also add personal injury protection. And they have increments, usually in 2,500, 5,000, and 10,000, while some carriers will allow even more. But that will take the place of your medical bills and your lost wages. So highly recommend having those in place right now when you really have a 1 in 3 chance of getting hit by someone without coverage.
Gotcha. Last question. How or what are the biggest benefits, if you will, Dustin, in terms of reaching out to somebody like you who specializes in personal injury? What kind of value does that person offer to the client, if you will?
I do like this question because it's a tough one, right? The value that and the way I demonstrate this is, all right, Terry, you mentioned that you had been in some accidents before, and let's say you have $4,500 in medical bills. What is your case worth? And usually I don't know. And that's because you don't deal with this regularly. We have software that allows us to track the average jury verdicts, the average settlement at mediations across different counties based upon the injuries. And so when you're dealing with someone that does this day to day, I've been doing this for 8 years. All I've done is motor vehicle accidents and personal injury. So that's the type of value you get. You get someone who's highly knowledgeable about this area. And in addition to that, negotiation is one of my favorite things. You can ask my wife. Not always the best negotiator against her, but I really enjoy the aspect of understanding the realm, where the pressing points are. And so you get someone who will not only negotiate the ultimate claim from the insurance company, but then I can turn around and negotiate your medical bills down, where my ultimate goal is to put as much money in my client's pocket as possible.
That's worth a ton right there. That peace of mind, for sure. Well, you have shared a ton of information. I'm very, very grateful that you took some time out of your busy schedule to share some of this information. It is definitely worth sharing. Let me just ask you, as a person who has been in an accident, if somebody has questions about it, what's the best way for them to reach out to you, Dustin, and maybe initiate a conversation?
You can find me on my website. I kept it real simple with my initials. It's dfoxlaw.com. You could reach me directly on a phone call as well. You can talk to myself or my paralegal. We can schedule a consultation, 512-9966-369. And of course, you can email me directly, not just, email the law firm. You can email me directly with a question. I kept this one simple too, so you can't mess it up. dfox@dfoxlaw.com.
That's awesome. Well, again, I appreciate you sharing this. And my friend watching this, if you got value, please share this with your family and friends. If you got questions, reach out to Dustin, via phone, via email, website, whatever, or comment below this video. I'll tag him in it and he can respond there as well. And it's definitely something I think that everybody needs to have on the top of their mind, because you never know when that day is going to happen. It's just the way it is.
You never know, but it's important to know just in case.
It is for sure. Let me ask you just a sidebar question, because I know we're both business owners, and I both know that we've been on the entrepreneurial journey for a long time. What's one of your favorite books that you've read when you've been on this process?
Oh gosh, I've read a lot of books. Audio books, read books. Probably the 16 Laws of Communication, I believe is the title of that, by John C. Maxwell.
John Maxwell? Yep.
Yeah, John Maxwell. He has excellent books on how to communicate, why you're communicating in certain fashions, and really understand how to reach people. Because, attorneys, we do a lot of communication by, written word, but when you're trying to communicate through conversation and body language, and I found it to be a very powerful tool as a business owner in general, but also as an attorney.
I love John Maxwell. In fact, that whole row of books right there is all John Maxwell. Tons of leadership books, 21 Laws of Leadership, how to develop the leader within you, how to develop leaders around you. John Maxwell is the man. There's no question about that. I love that guy. So again,
Yes.
my friend, hope you got value out of today's conversation. If you know anybody that might be interested in talking to Dustin, share the information. We are here to support each other, to help each other grow. If you haven't joined the Wilco pages, by all means, join that community and, reach out and make it personal, whether it be, the Wilco pages website, or as you reach out and network with other people. In today's economic climate, we all need to support each other. If I can reach out to you, if I can help you in any way, by all means, my contact information will be below. It's been streaming on the screen as well. We're here to support you. Dustin, I want to say thank you so much for being on our program today, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
All right. Remember this, my friend. Have a great day. Live with passion and create a positive ripple somehow, okay? Until next time, bye-bye for now. think that was a great show. I appreciate you spending so much time and sharing.
Yeah, no, it was fun. Um,
All right. You
I
take
like the
care.
curveball.
Say that again.
I like the curveballs. I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting some of those. Kept me on
Hey,
my toes.
you are a master at your craft, and I appreciate you so much. We'll talk to you soon, brother.
See ya.
Take care. Bye bye.